A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an interesting and a very special session on Getty Talks. My name is Shilpi, and I'm the Relationship Manager with the Global Education and Training Institute. I know you have seen this beautiful girl before, also. She is Miss Olga Mariana Medina Gallardo, and she is, the brave girl who joined us on the session of Omar when he was talking about the challenges of education faced by the refugees in Mexico. So yes, she belongs to Mexico, and she's again here because, as I told you, I had promised her I'll call her back for a topic again, and she would be given the entire floor to herself. So welcome, Mariana, and it's such a pleasure to see you back. You're such a sporting person. And thank you for joining in the disruptive education movement started by Dr. Sunita Gandhi. I would now like to introduce a little about this girl. At a very young age of 19 years, she is like international relations student at the University of Guadalajara, which is in Mexico, I believe. And she's the founder member of the first Zacatecas model of United Nations. All right. She is also the coordinator of international affairs at Zacatecas Global Network Mexico. So, Mariana, I know you are very, very passionate about education of the refugees who are there in Mexico. So, your topic is education right or privilege, which is a very apt topic. So, I would now like you to go ahead and express your views on this.
Thank you, Ms. Shipley. I appreciate it, and it's an honor to me to be here. The honor is mine. So, today I'm gonna talk to you about a real interesting topic for all of us, I guess. Is education a right or a privilege? Well, first of all, can you see my screen? Do you see what I'm changing?
Yes, I can see that. I
Yeah?
can see.
Okay. If you cannot see it, please tell me. Okay, so I can fix it. Well, first of all, Mexico is. I know that there's a little bit of confusion about Mexico. Is Mexico part of North America or Latin America? Why and so forth. So Mexico is part of North America, but it's also part of Latin America. It's not a regional thing or a geographically thing. It's more like a cultural thing. And yeah, well, I need to say that I'm a privileged person. Why am I a privileged person? Because of the only fact that I'm here right now talking to you. And because of the only fact that I just had breakfast. And because of the fact that I have even 2 meals per day. It doesn't matter that a human being needs to take more than 3 meals. If you take 2, you are privileged too. So, no less than 50 million of children work in Latin America. It's impacting. 32% of the population in Latin America doesn't have internet services. And in Mexico, 1.8 million doesn't even have access to energy. So, what are we? We are in a global crisis of COVID-19 in every sense, economic topic, educational topic, etc., etc. So, in the new normality, that we have, we are taking lessons by internet media and so forth. But these children, the most of the students in Latin America doesn't have access to their devices, to the resources for having this education and so forth. So why? So I'm gonna take it back a little bit. And I need to say that, first of all, if they don't have the resources, they will not study because they can't. It's not because they don't want to, and because they need to work. We are living in a crisis. I have heard that it's a silence crisis, but it's a silent crisis because we are focusing on more important things. Maybe we are thinking and talking about backends, and we are talking about economy and about markets and about enterprises breaking, but we are not talking about children. We are not talking about um, mental health, emotional health, and we are obviously neither talking about education and the challenges. So it's a thing of the new normality, and it's a thing of inspiration and mentality also. Why? Because students are not motivated to study something. They are just thinking that they could do better things and other things to make things in life, to life better. It's a thing of, why am I studying if I will not apply it? Uh, that's a thing of mentality. In Latin America, we have a huge problem with it. In the distant states or departments, I don't know how to say it, but mostly in the case of women, they they think that they cannot access, that they cannot go to the university or study something because they are gonna get married after middle school or after a grade, and they are not going to apply their knowledge. They are just going to marry, they are just to have kids, and they are just going to cook because they belong to the kitchen. It's sadly and it's impacting, but it's the reality. I know that in some other regions, not only in Latin America, happen these things, especially with women. But we need to change this. We need to show that we can do things with education, and that education is not only right there to to apply them in life. It's just to connect, and it's to know something different in and to make new things, to make literally a better world. So before COVID-19, in the normality that we were adapted to, in Latin America, there's also a crisis of infrastructure. Children, students in distant communities, they needed to walk for 5 hours for having a class of 8 hours. There are not the infrastructure for having the lessons, there are not even the infrastructure of in big cities of bringing education to universities, to university students. So I have seen that even half of the people, of the young people that want to study an university career, they do not success because there are not spaces for them in the universities, even in big cities. And right here, I'm talking specifically of Mexico. So, what is the right? The UN says that human rights are rights inherent to all human beings, regardless of race, sex, nationality, ethnicity, language, religion, or any other status. But we have seen that in a lot of occasions that the race, oh my God, we are excluded by the race. Right now, even in 21st century, there are people that doesn't want to talk to a people or doesn't want to be even in the same room of black people. And why? I don't know. I don't know. That's completely incoherent because we are all people. Sex. I have told you a situation here in Latin America, specifically about women getting married at a very sooner age, and that they cannot study because they're just going to marry and that's all. So I think it's a discrimination of sex too. Nationality. I'm gonna dare to say that in the United States or in another developed countries of Europe, even Canada and so forth, they have the infrastructure in the normality before COVID-19. They have the resources for make them the students to have lessons in their houses because they have internet, they have access to energy and so forth. So I think it's a thing of nationality too. And I will say another things of the other things present here. I'm just gonna mention language. Here in Mexico, there are dialects of our in some regions of the country, and schools are not prepared for bring lessons to these children that do not speak Spanish as I do, and as almost all the Mexicans do. They speak another dialects, and they are not prepared for it, even if we are native of those dialects. So the United Nations also says that education is a right, but as I have said before, of all of those things, what do you think? I think it's not a right. It's more a privilege, in my opinion, obviously. But maybe you could say that it's both. But we cannot ignore that it's a privilege. So, what can we do with it? We can take advantage of the privilege that we have in shared knowledge. We are all ambassadors of our own reality. We are living a different reality. Even I know that Miss Shipley is living a different reality of mine. And I know that a woman of my same age in the same country is living a different reality too. We are living like the same things. We are living all a pandemic. We are living all or things of our life of our human day by day, um, but we all have a different reality, and we can learn of our reality. We have experience, and the thing is not just keep it, is share it. And how? Well, that's your decision. We can be volunteers if we can. I know that sometimes we don't have the time or we don't have like the motivation, but I'm sure that if you go and you see a student, an ex-student that needed to stop their studies for work to eat something, you can change your mind. You can share a smile, but to be honest, people do not live off smiles. So you can share instead a meal. You can share a meal. Or if you can share a computer. You can bring internet if you can. I don't know, another things. You can again be volunteer of on building a school in a distant community and so forth. You can do something. Something makes everything. So what I want to say with this, that anything that you like to do, anything, if you do with conscience, if you do it with if you do it with a mentality of helping another people, you're doing something. And I told you that something makes everything. I mean, if you like to be an entrepreneur, you can put an enterprise and give right salaries. You can bring jobs, etc., etc. You can, if you do not like that thing, you can just motivate another students, because sometimes even the privileged people do not know that they are privileged. And it's important to, first of all, recognize that we are privileged. And anything that you want, I'm sure that if you look around you, you will find something to make it. And if you not, you can just search it on Google and you will find millions of options to do. The United Nations have made the Sustainable Development Goals for education, especially the number 4. So if you even need to find something and to do with it, you can search about Sustainable Development Goal number 5, and if that doesn't even if that is even not if that is not even enough, I'm gonna send to you. I'm gonna leave right here in the comments this page. You just click there, and there are a lot of options, and it's pretty easy. I truly believe the only way we can create a global peace is through not only education our minds, but our hearts and our souls. We need to make conscious that we are all human beings. We are all students. We are not a competition. We are partners. We are not living in this world for destroying it. We are building. We are living in it for building. Building what? Whatever you want. And that's a pretty quote that I like to share with you. And that's all. Thank you for your time.
You ended on a very good note by sharing Malala. She is one more great woman, despite after facing all the rebellions and everything, she's really worked for education, especially for the girls. Mariana, I would like to ask you, when you talk about education in India, for example, like in the 21st century, the situation has improved, a lot. But for girls, especially, I'm talking about. So there, back in Mexico, how much do you think importance is given to the girls' education, whether they are refugees or whether they are like the very own citizens of Mexico?
Are you talking about civil, about just civil population, or also about, but only of adults?
Both,
Both.
like
Okay. Well, I think it's pretty important because we are living in a globalized world. We need to learn everything. Even I have heard that when you study French or English or any other language, uh, people sometimes will say to you, "Why do you waste your time doing that? You're not going to use it." But we do not think that we can talk to another region's people or to another citizens. We only think that we are living right here and we are doing this, and that's all that I can do. We do not think that we can make the difference. We do not think that we can imagine things or connect things with education and do another things. We do not think that we can share ideas with people around the world that is living the same that we are living, and we can use the things that they are doing in our country and in our reality to make it better.
All right. Okay. So, what is the contribution of the youth when it comes to, standing up for education, and how much of the government is involved in this?
Okay, I don't like to think of the idea that youth are powerful only because they are youth, because we are youth. I like to
Yeah.
think that we are powerful because we can do something. Not because we're youth, because we have all the life or do something. We have all the life to learn something, to have ideas and things like that, but specifically and with a goal. If we just say that we are young and we can do anything, that's a little bit confusing. You need to have like a goal in mind. And yeah, but the government here in Mexico, I need to say that I'm glad because there are a lot of programs of your youth people for keep their studies and for keep interesting in other things of education and in other things of relations and projects and things like that. Uh, we sometimes we dismiss these opportunities because we do not see it. We just ignore it that they are there. So if you're from Mexico, you can also search in Google or in anything about programs and things that can complement what are you doing.
Right. So thank you, Mariana, for taking out time. I know you are busy with university, and apart from that, still you were able to spare time and talk about education, whether it's a right or a privilege. So once again, thank you very much, and very best of luck for your endeavors in the future.
Thank you.